Well, the overturning of Roe versus Wade is shining a light on America's already broken foster care system, with concerns that a surge in pregnancies will only further exacerbate the underfunded system. And right now, there are around 424,000 children in foster care, with around 250,000 new children entering every single year. And numbers show that the odds are against these children, with homelessness, human trafficking, and incarceration rates through the roof after they exit the program. Well, our next guest is working with communities to help foster care families. Joining us now is John Flores, the Vice President of Strategic Growth at Promise 686. John, it's good to see you this evening. So it's awesome that conservatives are winning in the fight for life, but it's also tragic to see these staggering numbers of kids coming out of the foster system, going into homelessness, like I said, incarceration. Why is the system so broken?
Yeah, Lindsay, you hit the nail on the head. One of the things that we say in our organization a lot is the problem with the child welfare space is people don't realize how big of a problem it is. It itself, isolated in and of itself, is a problem, but it really is what leads to a lot of downline implications and breakdowns in society. You said it. 50% of the children in foster care live in 5% of the counties. So you're experiencing homelessness and poverty in a lot of the largest cities in the U.S. 70% of currently trafficked individuals were in the foster care system. 65% of incarcerated individuals were in the foster care system. 5 million people that are currently homeless were in the foster care system. So it really is the head of the snake, or the dead cow upriver, to a lot of breakdowns in society today, and it's unsustainable.
And the numbers of kids going in, like I said, you already have, over 400,000 kids in the system. We expect that number will grow. So what needs to be done to fix it? Are people focused on this problem enough?
Well, that's a great question. And one of the things that I really believe is, aside from your stance on politics with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, it's a problem that's got to be fixed. And the current solutions are still part of the problem. And we really believe that solutions don't exist in a silo. And that's what's happening, is individuals and churches and organizations are doing a lot of really, really good work, but they're not coming to the table to convene together. And that's what our organization's trying to do, is how do we equip and empower churches and the faith community, nonprofit organizations in different cities and states, the local governments? How do we get all them to the table to work together and partner rather than pioneer? And so one of the things we really believe is, when you see the statistics of 50% of people, families who foster, they quit after the first year. Why is that the case? They're not equipped, they're not resourced, and they don't have a community of care around them to carry that burden with them. And that's one of the things that our technology platform at Promise is trying to do as we convene people at the table, is how do they recruit and resource people to come alongside the families that are at the tip of the spear that are fostering and adopting, that can come alongside and say, hey, we'll bring you a meal every Thursday. We'll bring you a Publix gift card every Saturday. We'll watch your kids and take them to the park on Saturday morning, so that a community then comes alongside that family and cares for them. We've seen that 90% of families that foster, when they have a proper community of care around them, 90% continue after the first year. In my opinion, that's how we begin to not really even stem the tide, but reverse the tide, to really make a mark in this really significant issue that America is dealing with. And it's going to get worse unless people come to the table and try to solve it together.
Wow. How does adoption fit into all this? Because I've heard some people say we just need 400,000 families to adopt, but that doesn't seem realistic either.
Yeah, it's a both and, right? A lot of times foster care leads to adoption. People can get involved with respite care, foster care, adoption, right? When all of those things begin to take place, the needle begins to move. And not everybody's called to do respite, foster, or adopt. But again, that's when, how can I come alongside those who are called to do so? Adoption's a huge component in this, right? And the same breakdown of the problem and solution that I talked about before is the same on the adoption side. People don't know where to go. They may feel called to adopt. They're not resourced properly. They don't have the proper organizations or agencies that they can find who are reputable to do good work. So again, if you bring everybody back to the table, then I think that you can resource and empower people appropriately to take whatever that step is they're called to try to make a dent in the problem.
And before we let you go, I only have 30 seconds. Where can people go if they want to get involved and they want to help with this problem?
Yeah, it's a great question. So our organization, Promise 686, we exist in 27 states. We have 1,200 church partners trying to equip and empower them to serve families who are fostering and adopting. We have 37 nonprofit partners in those 27 states. If you're interested in engaging your church, engaging a local nonprofit organization, our website, promise686.org, will walk you through that track and how you can take the next step or get your church or organization to take the next step. It's also got adoption resources, foster resources. Again, so we invite people to take that first step. We feel like our organization and our website is a really great resource to take that first step.
Amazing. John Flores, thank you for what you are doing to shine light on this problem and to help fix the broken system. I hope that people get involved and help those families or become a family. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Lindsay.